Hey guys, it's Drake with the RPG Construct, coming to you with another one of these Call of Cthulhu 7th edition how-to videos. Today I am going to make an attempt to tackle combat. Now there is a lot to explain, a lot of little rules that are a little bit complicated, so I think what I decided to do, I'm just going to talk about the basic kind of melee combat, the base how-tos, and then later get into the specifics of what could be or the optional rules and stuff like that. We're just going to go through the basic combat rules for this one's going to be just melee. I'm going to do the next one for firearms, which will probably be another 20-minute video. But so when it comes to combat in Call of Cthulhu, you have your combat rounds, right? Just like your typical RPG. The biggest thing that is different here is when you make your roll to do a melee attack or to attack something, you have 4 levels of success, okay? You have a failure if you roll higher than whatever your skill number is. You have a success, which is your skill number or lower. You have a hard success, which is half of your skill number or lower. And then you have an extreme success, which is 1/5 of your skill number or lower. Okay? So those are the levels of success that you have. This is the basis for the entire combat system in Call of Cthulhu. For example, okay, a lot of things, everything is resolved via opposing rolls in this game. So if I'm attacking you, or if you're attacking a creature that the keeper is controlling, you make a roll for your attack, okay? And that creature has 2 options, okay? That creature can choose to fight back, or that creature can choose to dodge. All right? Those are the only 2 options in a melee attack in this game. The attacker rolls and the person being attacked rolls. Okay? So let's just go through these 2 options. Fighting back or dodging. Okay? If a creature attacks you and you choose to fight back, both of you make your rolls. Whoever has the highest success, the highest level of success, wins. Okay? Let me just read this to you because I put some notes on so I didn't mess it up. If you choose to fight back, okay, if the attacker has a higher level of success, then he deals damage to you. If the defender has a higher level of success, then you actually do damage to the attacker. Okay? So in this one, basically whoever has a higher level of success wins and does damage to the other one. On a draw, the person who initially tried to attack wins that and deals the damage. If both fail on their rolls, then obviously there's no damage there. So when you're attacking or when you're being attacked, if you roll and you choose to fight back, somebody's coming at you, you choose to go right back at them. If they roll higher than you and have a higher level of success, that is, success, hard success, or extreme success. Okay? If they roll higher than you, they hit you, they do damage. If you roll higher than them, they take damage, and you win. Pretty simple, right? Okay. The next option is if someone is attacking you with a standard melee weapon or fist or something, you can choose to dodge. Okay? So you use your dodge skill. So that person makes an attack roll for you. You make a dodge roll against your dodge skill. It's the same deal. If the attacker has a higher level of success than you do, then the attacker hits you and they deal damage. Okay? If the defender has a higher level of success. Basically, you dodge it, there's no damage. On a draw, if you choose to dodge and you basically, if you guys both succeed, then that's it, and it's a draw, then the defender basically wins and there is no damage done. If both fail, there's no damage. Okay, that is the basic explanation. Every combat round is resolved through opposed rolls. So it isn't just your typical I roll higher than their armor class and I hit. That's not how that works. Okay? Pretty basic to understand. And as I'm saying it, it makes a lot of sense. But when I read it initially, it was actually seemed really complicated. So, like I said, I got a whole bunch of notes here, so I'm just going to kind of go through. So in this, when it comes to combat, your combat order goes in based off of your deck skill. So if you have somebody with a 90, somebody with a 70, and a 60 and a 50, it's 90, 70, 60, 50. Whoever has the highest dex acts first. And then whatever creature or everything that you're fighting would go into there. It's just like initiative, except you don't roll for it. It's all based off of your dex. Okay? Let's see here. When it comes to extreme successes, okay? If you are rolling a melee, with like a bludgeoning implement, or even like a piercing implement, or like a penetrating implement, if you roll an extreme success, then you will deal max damage on any type of a melee weapon. Okay? Max damage plus the max damage bonus that you have. So let's say you have a sword and it's 1d8, but your build and your size, as we've covered in the character creation, adds 1d4. Okay? You would deal maximum damage and maximum damage bonus. So that would be 12 points of damage. Okay? It doesn't sound like a lot, but a lot of things have less than 12 hit points. It's very easy to die and to kill. Basically, kill and be killed in this game. So keep that in mind when it comes to those extreme successes. Because if you roll something really good, you want to do something really cool with it, right? So just keep that in mind. And what it talked about in the book was, something piercing or that penetrates. You basically impale that person. More of a severe wound type of a thing. Okay. Next, we are going to go through improvised weapons, something that they talk about a little bit. You may not start out with a sword or a dagger or a club, or depending on the game that you guys have, you may just have a kitchen knife or the leg of a table or something like that. At the keeper's discretion, damage will be assigned as such. If it's the leg of a table, it's probably a club. If it's a kitchen knife, it's probably a dagger. Use common sense. I'm sure whatever you grab, the keeper will be fine with. You can absolutely use those improvised weapons. A few other little things here. There are something in the book that they call maneuvers. Okay, if you want to do things, if you want to take whoever's trying to fight you and you want to push them back, or you want to, wrestle them to the ground or something like that. It's not just, it has to make sense. If this creature is 30 feet tall, no matter how well you roll, you're not going to wrestle him to the ground. Okay? If you think about it, a person of smaller stature is going to be much harder to hit than somebody of bigger stature. So if you have a very large creature and you're trying to hit him, the keeper might award you a bonus die for that. If you're a really big guy and the thing that you're trying to hit is moving really fast, the keeper may award you just a normal penalty die, just one. But it's really at the keeper's discretion, but just keep something in mind. If you're trying to do a specific maneuver, the size of the creature and the size that you are may have some effect on that. Okay? It may not just be, you roll, you succeed, or you're not, because it has to make sense. A lot of this game, which I actually really like, it needs to make sense for the story. And like I said, if it's a 30-foot, you know, creature from hell, and you're a 6'5", 300-pound bear of a man, it doesn't matter how big you are as far as human standards. You're not doing nothing to push that guy out of the way. You're not going to wrestle him to the ground, no matter how high you roll. So just keep that in mind. Let's see here. What did I write down next? I wrote down surprise. Basically, oh, okay. I see what this was. This was one of the things they gave a few examples. If you are, creeping up behind somebody and they don't see you, that's pretty much a guaranteed hit. Okay, you don't have to roll. You could, just for like narrative purposes. You go to hit them and you miss or something like that. But it would take a pretty solid fumble to do that. Most keepers are going to allow, if it could be a surprise and it makes sense, you will hit on that. When there is a surprise round, you don't have to start in the dexterity order. Okay, if somebody just happens to be there and they're not highest on the dexterity order, for the purposes of surprising someone, surprising a creature and attacking them or hitting them or whatever they do, that is kind of an action in of itself. Okay, you will start basically the initiative order or the attack order after that round. Okay, after that round is resolved. Okay, also when it comes to firearms, if you surprise somebody, it pretty much always hits. They don't know it's coming, short of just failing critically, and so just keep that in mind. Something else that they talked about is being outnumbered. Basically, facing a group of enemies, like anything else, you're gonna be at a disadvantage. Okay, so basically, if you are attacking, if you are being attacked, okay, and you have, each round you get one attack. Once you do your initial fight back, okay, after that, everyone that is fighting you is awarded 1 bonus dice. Likewise, if there's 4 of you and you're fighting 1 creature, after they do their initial round, everyone that is trying to fight him is awarded 1 bonus dice for every attack that for their turn. Okay, so if it's one of these bigger creatures, you have it surrounded, you are more likely to hit, therefore you will be given advantage on that. So when a creature is outnumbered, it is at disadvantage. If you are outnumbered, you are at disadvantage. So just keep that in mind. If you're in some room and you're surrounded by cultists, and yeah, you might do okay on your first roll, but after that, they all gain advantage against you. In that situation, it's not looking good. So just keep that in mind. And also, one little tidbit of that. If a creature has 3 attacks, it has to resolve those. It can resolve all 3 of those attacks if it does 3 attacks per round, 2 or 3, whatever it is. If it has multiple attacks per round, it has to get through all of those before the person attacking them gets that bonus dice or that advantage. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Let's see here. So I'm just going to touch on this just real quick. Okay, ranged weapons or thrown weapons. We're not talking about firearms. We're talking about like bows and arrows or thrown daggers or knives. You can't, if somebody throws a knife at you, you can't choose to fight back. Okay, you can choose to dodge. That's really your only option. If somebody's shooting a bow and arrow at you, you can't, you're 20 feet away, 30 feet away, or how far you are. Your only option is to dodge in that. Okay, unless you are 1/5 of your dexterity in feet away. So if you have a 50 dexterity, if you're less than 10 feet away, you can choose to fight back, because you can move and get there. Okay, that's the only way that you can in ranged or thrown weapons. Usually, your only option is to dodge. Okay. Also, you can, if you want to run away, if you want to escape, that is an option too. If you're in an encounter and you want to run away, as long as you are not physically restrained and you have an escape route, you can escape, or you can try to. There's no, attack of opportunity or anything like that. But if you want to run away, run away. You don't have to stare death in the face and just stand there and smile as you die. Running away and living to fight another day may be your best bet. The final thing with this, I want to talk about armor. Okay, there are varying degrees of armor in this game, depending on if you're going for the 1920s all the way up to modern day, to full body armor. But let me just give you an example of just a heavy leather jacket. Okay, offers an armor of 1. So any damage that you take, let's say you take 5 piercing damage. Armor is structured that whatever your armor is, you deduct that from the damage that you receive. Okay, so if you get hit for 5 and you're wearing this heavy leather jacket, which has an armor of 1, then you actually take 4 points of damage. Okay, so again, fairly simple, but there is a lot to combat, and I think once you start running it, it's actually not that bad. But the initial read through was like, wow, this is a lot of numbers, this is a lot of mechanics. But if you just remember that there's different levels of successes, there's, you don't just hit them, you hit them well, and you hit them really well. And if the guy trying to get you just hits you well, you win. So just keep that in mind. It's always resolved through opposing rolls. Everything that you hit is going to have an opportunity to hit you. Okay? It's risk and reward, just like every video that I've done. There's always a catch to everything. Okay? So that's all I'm going to cover right now, guys, for combat, just melee combat. Again, I know it was just a brief kind of overview, but I've given you the basics, and I think at least I hope it's been made clear. I'm going to do another video maybe a little bit later tonight. I don't know, it's only 10 o'clock, but just with regards to firearms, as there are a ton of different rules for that. Your basic roll to hit is very similar, but there's a whole bunch of additionals that go with shooting a firearm. So keep that in mind, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something about Call of Cthulhu 7th Edition Combat, at least melee, and look for the next one to come pretty soon. Have a great night.